What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the lab. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz. It's good to see you. Good to be here. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Turn that up a little bit. How's it going, everybody? Welcome again. What time is it here? 9:35 here on the West Coast. What's everybody up to tonight? I know everybody, well, most people like me have been glued to this coverage and waiting for a big break. And did they get their big break tonight or today? Who knows? Possibly, I guess. They're talking about a glove now. And look, if they did find a glove that's connected to this, I would think that I think it would be a fairly big deal. Hold on a second. Oh crap, I made it worse. Did they say a mask too? Which would be even crazy, I mean, look, if there's somebody, first of all, we all watch the guy try and put shrubs over the Nest camera. And so if this person's walking down the road discarding their clothing that they wore during the commission of a crime, well, that just seems pretty I mean, that was just look, who really knows? Because it's just the whole thing is so asinine and confusing. I don't even know what else to say about that. There's some new-ish clips that will play, and I'll give some commentary too. I haven't watched much today, but I have heard that a glove was found and that it was bagged up for evidence. But but obviously that doesn't mean that it has anything to do with it. I mean, we saw a guy get detained yesterday and then he's walking around free today. So, did they ever? One thing I hadn't seen, and maybe they'll talk. Maybe we'll come across a video tonight about it. Is that why the guy was detained? Why this guy was detained? It had to probably be from some sort of a tip, like somebody calling a tip in. But I haven't heard that for certain. But a lot of these times, Crime Stopper tips that they follow up on them, but I would imagine that probably happens more than we know. It would make sense that it would be a tip. So let me Okay, let's talk about, or I'm gonna play a little bit about the glove first, and then we could talk about that a bit. Macho is snoring. It's crazy how much he's snoring. The kidnappers and Nancy are all deads by now. This is a Clinton operation to keep Michael Feldman in line. Oh, God.
Back to the live drone shot, Connell, because this is happening right now and it's not very far from where I'm standing outside of Nancy Guthrie's house. There are FBI teams that have come back into the neighborhood yet again and are going door to door, are talking to neighbors, trying to see if they found any, if they've seen anything. And then they're also searching. They're searching along the roadways and they're going into the brush along the roadway. And the New York Post is now reporting that this afternoon they found a black glove about a mile and a half from where I'm standing outside Nancy's house. Now, remember, in the surveillance photos and video from outside Nancy's house of the suspect, you can see that he is wearing black gloves. So is this a black glove potentially connected to the case? We're told that they bagged it up when they found it on
the one picture where he's taking the shrubbery and putting it over the Ring or the Nest camera, it will be an infamous picture forever. It's gonna be like when OJ put the glove on type stuff.
the side of the road and took it away, likely for testing. So we'll have to wait and see. Also happening just within the last couple of hours at Annie Guthrie's house, which is, of course, Savannah's sister. We have video from there where there were two men who showed up who we believe were law enforcement, showed up in a gray SUV, wearing gloves, went inside the house, came out with a brown paper bag, and then also went and got the mail out of the mailbox, but did so while wearing the gloves. Didn't answer questions, got in the SUV and left. So yeah, this is the video right here. You can see where they're coming out right there, wearing the gloves, and then you'll see he comes around the corner and eventually goes to the mailbox. Two things I was thinking, Connell, likely police officers based on the car that I saw and just wearing the gloves. It's possible they're the private security that's been working with the Guthries who went to go pick something up for them, but then why wear the gloves like that? So we're still trying to sort that out, Connell.
Yeah. All right, a lot there. Brian, stay with us.
My grandma has Life Alert. She sets it off all the time on accident.
Tucson, as we bring in the veteran forensic investigator Paul Ciolino into this wider conversation. I think, Paul, with your expertise, I would actually start with the report on the glove. I mean, New York Post is saying that they found this glove, according to Brian, a mile and a half away. So you find that theoretically, and then what can you get from that?
Well, you get DNA off of it, no question about it. And if that DNA comes back to a family member or somebody they're up on already, listen, they found that glove because they're up on someone's phone, which means they're retracing everywhere that phone's been, all the roads. That's why they're in the foothills. They're just not guessing. They have a reason for being there. So they're up on somebody's phone. They're retracing that phone's routes in the last 10 days at least, right? So that's why they're starting to, that might be why they turned up a crucial piece of evidence.
That's interesting. So you're saying, Paul, they're up on somebody's phone. We know, and Brian reported on this extensively last night, they got a guy for questioning and they let him.
I think the black and white night vision, I see what you guys are saying in the chat, that you're saying that his eyes do look weird, and there's no question. Everything about the guy is weird. But I think it's a bit of the night vision on the Nest cam that makes it look weird as well. That's what I think.
Go by the name of Carlos, like right. Hour south, right? So, but you're thinking that they're probably following a bunch of leads at once. Is that your point, Paul?
Yeah, they got on Carlos's phone and didn't find him anywhere near Guthrie's, at the time in question. So they kicked him loose fast, and they determined pretty quickly he's got nothing to do with this whole thing.
What would
But
you?
they're on someone's phone.
That's
And
interesting.
the fact that they found a glove, Connell, that's pretty huge. They might be on the right path.
It was huge yesterday, Brian. We got the video, right? The surveillance that we're looking at now,
Yep.
and now, Brian, maybe this is another big one. It's just the New York Post, I think, reporting it now, right?
New York Post, Daily Mail, and what's interesting is we heard from a neighbor when the FBI came onto their property that they were looking for something that may have been dropped.
I think,
That's the language that the
I was gonna say, was it 8 hours? I mean, that's for kicking somebody's door in and detaining them the way that they did. I guess that would be fast. It didn't seem fast to me, but
FBI was using, which now lines up with potential.
think about, like, what if, like, I've had door dashes before that have taken forever. One time somebody told me, they said there's a semi parked, like they're unloading a semi and the only way out they're blocking. So I can't move anywhere. Took them 20 minutes. And I was like, okay, well, that's understandable. That's not something you could do. That's not something you could. So, so I gave him a good review. Can you imagine saying, I'm sorry I didn't get your Arby's to you soon enough. I was detained by the FBI. 1 star.
Potentially looking for the gloves, probably also looking for the backpack, the mask, and trying to figure out, these roads are so twisty and turny out here in the desert, Connell, and there's a couple of different ways to get into these neighborhoods, probably trying to determine the exact route that this person took to come in and to get out.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone. And
Well, I mean, it's very interesting. I know a lot of people are still saying that Tomato is still involved, and but would it really? First of all, where is he? And would it really take them this long if he was involved to be picked up, I guess? I don't know. Or to be fleshed out. So I don't know. I think, I don't know. All right. Get off the screen, Cuomo. I hate that our boy is back. Look. Check this out. The graphic.
Searching along the roadways. Interestingly, the FBI teams were also back at Nancy Guthrie's house today and searching behind the area where we're set up, where the media set up, asking us to move off of the side of the road so that they could search. And then also searching in Nancy's yard, in the side yard, behind the house. You can see we had our drone up right here, Jesse. So they were back again. I haven't seen them back here at the house in a couple of days. Also, at the same time at Annie Guthrie's house. And remember, Annie is Savannah's sister, Nancy's other daughter. There were 2 men that showed up at Annie's house this afternoon, Jesse. One of them was wearing latex gloves. We believe they were law enforcement, although we asked several times, what agency are you from? This is video of them right here. They got out of a gray SUV. It looked like a law enforcement SUV, although they were in plain clothes.
Also, an alarm wasn't set in the, was it John Benet Ramsey case? Remember that? I always found that crazy.
They went into Annie's house for 3 to 4 minutes, and then they came out, you see there, holding 2 paper bags, put the bags into the SUV. And what's interesting is the one who was wearing the latex gloves, then there he is, went over to the mailbox and took the mail out of the mailbox and then carefully put it into the SUV. Again, we tried asking them, what agency are you from? Are you from the sheriff's office? Are you part of the FBI? And they wouldn't respond, and then left Annie's house. So that was another interesting development. But I think the glove right now is what people are sort of holding on to, hoping that perhaps this could be a critical piece of evidence. I want to bring in Kurt Dabb. And Kurt is a retired homicide detective from here in Pima County. I've gotten to know Kurt over the last week.
Oh man, he's still got another graphic tee underneath it. Look. Right there. Do you see? You see that? All he's got to do is just zip it up just another inch and no graphic tee will be showing. But this is our boy. Kurt Dabb, baby.
Or so.
Yep.
You were there for what, over 3 decades, right?
No, a little over 20 years.
A little over 20
Thanks.
years. Okay, yeah, you look younger than that, Kurt. But he's been an incredible resource because he's got great connections in the department and he knows the area so well. The first thing I want to ask you about is these gloves. And
Jesus, Brian, where the hell did those come from? Where did it?
sources in the department and he knows the area so
How do you?
well. The first thing I want to ask you about is these gloves. And sources that I've talked to say that they believe these are the kinds of gloves that they were. They're night trial gloves. They're
Of course, Weber's got to stick his beak in here.
similar to like what people would wear, I'm told,
It's Eddie Munster.
that are working on homes with chemicals. Someone was telling me a lot of cooks wear these gloves, hairdressers wear these gloves. They're very, very common. Do you think that this glove that was located today could have just been a worker that threw the glove to the side of the road?
Where did Weber come from?
Or do you think this could actually be significant?
Well, there's many theories of what it could be. Suffice to say, we have to take it, or law enforcement has to take it seriously. I own the same color gloves at home. What struck me was the amount of days that have gone by since the glove was discovered. I know I've been watching the news. I've been seeing them do article searches, which is walking up and down the side of the roads. I saw they were knocking on doors and going in, excuse me, in people's backyards and checking in the washes. So I think it's highly possible that it is, one of the gloves that the suspect, but we won't know that until the FBI or the sheriff's department, gets DNA testing done on it.
What about the FBI teams coming back out here to the house today? Because they were right behind us. They were in the front driveway and they were all in the side yard. They weren't doing a grid search where they were all lined up, but there was about 5 of them, looking intently. What do you make of that?
Well, as you know, Brian, as the investigation is going on, there's still going to be a ton of interviews. There's a bunch of tips coming in. So each interview, could give a little piece of information. And as soon as that piece of information, if the detectives or the sergeants or whoever's monitoring, the calls coming in or the tips coming in or the interviews, they'll immediately send somebody out. So it's not that out of the ordinary to have them, 1 or 2 people come back to a house to grab something.
I raced out last night, an hour away, very close to the Mexico border, where they located this person who they were calling a subject, and they were questioning him. They had a search warrant, federal search warrant, whole area closed down, seemed really legit. And later that night, we find out that they've released him, and no one has said another word about this guy. It seems like he probably wasn't connected. That is my sense. Are you hearing anything on that front?
I haven't heard anything different than what happened or what you just described. That doesn't mean that that individual, unless they come out and say, yeah, he is bona fide, nothing to do with it, you're still going to look, keep tabs, if you will, on that individual and any of the other individuals that they have. But just because he was released doesn't mean he's not part of it, unless the sheriff's department or the FBI, which they may have, I don't know, said no, this individual was cleared.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your time, Kurt.
Sure.
As always, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
It was interesting when I was on your show, like you said last night, Jesse, when that all went down out there, and to think that a few hours after we got off the air, the guy was walking out and he was back home, and suddenly no one has said a word since.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation
Oh God, I can't stand that.
app right now on your phone, and you will get
Shut up.
fact-based.
Oh my God. Let me see. me a second. I'm trying to find the yeah, I got it, but I'm just gonna play it off of Twitter. So this is allegedly video that was turned over to the FBI. So it's okay. So it's not a neighbor. It's from someone's Ring camera 5 miles away. Got it. The hell are you doing? Person trying to unlock a side gate. Gray jacket, 2 dark color backpacks. Let me slide down here a little bit. What the hell? And this is the same night that she went missing, correct? He does have 2 backpacks, but I don't know. I see the timestamp. It's whoever this is prowling, or I don't know how far this is away. What the hell? The time says, so it says February 1st, 1:53 Mountain, 1:53 6 seconds Mountain Standard Time. He does. He has 2 backpacks. One he's putting over a fence 5 miles away. Well, I mean, that's not far if he's in a car. If he's on foot, I mean, that would probably take him a good 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how fast he can walk. What is he doing though? I heard this was from January 11th, but if it is, this says very clearly at the bottom, February 1st. Yeah, look, well, so what happens in my neighborhood is that sometimes there are homeless people that show up on trash night and go through like the recycle bins and stuff. Um, you know, is that possible? Is that possible that that's what this guy's doing? Who knows? I mean, it's hard to say. So, is this yeah, that was from Nerdy Addict's Twitter. Yeah, I'll play it again. Hold on. Let's see. Josh, when he's reaching over the fence, look way in the background at the person dressed in all black. I'm looking. So at this point, right here. I don't see anybody else. So this is allegedly a video that was submitted to the FBI, and that this happened on the night where Nancy Guthrie went missing, uh, sort of in kind of the area around the same time that she goes missing. I mean, it could be nothing. Um, I mean, he could just be, could be, I mean, he could be just a dodgy dude in the neighborhood too. I mean, it's interesting. There's no doubt that it's interesting. Two backpacks doesn't make any sense. But the fact is that you do have a guy out. You do have a guy out in the neighborhood ish, I guess. I don't know. Let me see it one more time. I don't know. Homeless people. Well, these are, look, there are this is new age. There are new age homeless people. I'm not even kidding you. I saw a guy on the street not that long ago. He had a sign with his Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. No shit. I mean, I wish I was lying about that. The homeless guy. No, we have no idea what was taken from inside of the house. They're very, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's new age. Some people choose to be homeless. I'm not even kidding. And in these kind of areas where the weather doesn't get like super cold and it doesn't snow, that's where you see the most amount of homeless people. That's another thing, like in California and like LA, San Francisco, even up north here, we don't get any snow. And so it never gets like super cold, freezing. You know what I'm saying? That and it never gets that cold. So people live outside. I mean, and they sort of choose to, which is another really weird thing, but that's what they do. Oh, Southern Ish. Thank you so much. Sorry, I canceled my subscription. I misunderstood you were leaving this channel. or Nancy Guthrie, I cannot imagine waking up to. I'm actually the other, the After Dark channel. Imagine waking up to this in person on the door cam in my room. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I can't even. And thank you so much, but I cannot imagine. I can't imagine. I mean, I saw that video. I mean, it was terrifying that there are people that prowl around like that. Okay, so this guy, well, like I said, you won't find a lot of homeless people where there's extreme weathers unless it's like, they have to. I mean, it's this I just don't understand this. Look, it very well. I'm not saying that this is the guy. I'm not saying it's not. It is an interesting video. I mean, the guy is wearing a, a jacket and a backpack on the same night that there was another guy sort of in the vicinity. I mean, 5 miles isn't that close. Just trying to open the gate though to do what? I don't know if I can do a side by side, but let me bring this up again. I don't think they're related. In Yeah, Tucson has a very high crime rate. I think that the other guy is, you know, I don't think they're the same person. Well, the guy thinks that he's going to put plants on and block the camera. And then after that, he just decides to rip the damn thing off, which he should have done in the first place. Lulu Gumshoe. Is he double gloved up? I guess you can't tell. But those are like the black like nitrate gloves. I use those when I like barbecue, when I'm doing ribs and I'm doing the rub. I use those. We're gonna listen to Enton in a minute. Yeah, I'm not very good at working on cars, but I mean I try sometime. I've tried. Like I can change spark plugs and stuff. And then the one time I tried to fix a hot water heater, I legitimately almost blew myself up. This whole glove thing, and I know that there's no correlation, like there's nothing to compare it to other than OJ. Like every time I think of a glove, I think of OJ, like the isotoner gloves or whatever they were called. Yeah, that doesn't look like one set. What it could be is he could have, bigger gloves on underneath, and then no. Okay, let's see. All right, let me play a little of Enton, what he has to say. This is from 7 hours ago. Because I'm sure he's going to talk about the glove.
Thanks so much for checking out my show. I really, really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. I appreciate all the support. I'm, of course, still in Tucson, Arizona, outside Nancy Guthrie's house right here. You can see all the media across the street. There's been a lot going on over the last 12 hours or so that I want to get to. First of all, law enforcement was back at Annie Guthrie's house just a little while ago. Right now, it's
now that, I mean, is that, look, if that is law enforcement, and I've heard that it may be or it may not be, why they're on day 12 or 13 and they're searching her home still?
gosh, I'm losing track of my days. It's Wednesday, depending on when you're watching this story or watching this this episode. They were back at Annie Guthrie's house. There were 2 law enforcement agents that showed up in a gray SUV. They went inside the house. They came outside the house with latex gloves on. And they were holding a brown bag. They were not in the house for long. And then they also went and got mail out of the mailbox, again, wearing the gloves. And then they left. So it was not like what we saw on Saturday night where they were there for 3 hours and we saw pictures being taken inside. That wasn't the case. It was quick. They went in, they had gloves on, they came out with a brown bag, and then they also checked.
No, I did. Banana Fresh, I didn't see that. But what I did see was that TMZ received another Bitcoin request, 1 Bitcoin, which is like $67,000 for the name of the abductor. So, and I don't know if this is the same wallet, but whoever this is has, first of all, I think they're full of shit, but I think that they have this obsession with cryptocurrency and they're very desperate for any money. When they realized that the 6 million wasn't going to get paid, now they're like, well, look, I'm going to give you a bargain or a layaway or whatever. It's just like the wildest thing.
Back to the mail. So that is
not the same wallet, not a surprise.
Is the latest development that happened at Annie's house. The FBI today is reporting that they are going to be doing ground searches along roadways in the Catalina foothills around where Nancy and Annie live. And when I was out at Annie's house yesterday and I saw the FBI going door to door, they asked one of the neighbors for permission to search. And then the neighbor said, well, what are you looking for? And they said something that may have been dropped, which makes me think when you look back at those pictures of the suspect, what he was wearing, the mask, the backpack, the gloves, all that, are they looking to see if something was maybe thrown out of a car window? Because we know today the search is specifically directed.
All right, so think about it. Like, I don't know how long, this would be a question for an FBI agent or, I don't know, anybody besides me, but I don't know how long it takes them to process a car. I don't think it takes 13 days, but the fact that the car is still impounded, not impounded, but seized. And I'm sure they're going through it with a fine tooth comb. And then on top of that, they're still returning to the house, taking photographs. Yes, they are. You're right about that.
Along roadways. So that's the latest from the FBI. Pima County Sheriff's Office says that there will be no updates today, no briefings unless there's a development, which kind of surprised me in light of what happened last night. You guys remember they.
Oh, I'm not saying that they can't. What I'm saying is that I mean, after it's processed, I mean, how long is it going to take?
Had that person detained who has since been let go. I raced out an hour away from Tucson, very, very close to the Mexico border. I went like, I shouldn't say this, but I was going like 100 miles an hour trying to get there when I got the tip that they had this person detained. There was a federal search warrant that was being
Brian's going to be arrested for speeding.
Executed at the house. The family members of the guy were like, there's no way he's involved in Nancy Guthrie. We don't know about the case. He wasn't out of town last weekend.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. I learned that from Denzel in Training Day, and that's a fact. Truer words have never been spoken.
He doesn't know anything about Bitcoin. And I talked to them, and come to find out a few hours later, he was released. He was detained and then released, and it appears he has nothing to do with the case, although we'll have to see. I mean, they must have had something in that search warrant to be able to go search the house and detain him. So I'll stay on top of that, try to figure out how all of that sorts out today. But again, I was hoping there'd be some kind of press briefing from the sheriff, and that doesn't appear like it's going to happen. I want to go to Kurt Dabb, who is was a longtime homicide detective here in Pima County, to help me break down these latest developments, especially what happened last night with this man being detained, and sort of what he thinks about where things are going to go from here.
Well, I'm my boy, dude, he's back. I think that I don't know who sent the money, or the the $300. I think that they were trying to probably shake the bushes loose a little bit.
What do you make of what happened last night? I mean, we raced down to,
I think they were probably seeing if somebody would try and cash out,
near the Mexico border. They had him detained, and then now he walked out. What do you think happened there?
I don't know what leads specifically led them, to that individual. Extremely grateful for the technology that, the FBI has to recover some video, and I'm hoping that they have other video that they're holding back. But yeah, it was a complete surprise to me. I saw the detention last night. I went to bed and woke up this morning and praying, that it was the suspect, and then, that.
The question is, can someone clarify, is Bitcoin traceable or not? Bitcoin is a decentralized cryptocurrency that has no government regulation, and it works off a blockchain. So there's only so many Bitcoin in the world, and you can mine for Bitcoin. It's a pain in the ass. Honestly, it's even me just trying to explain it. No, I don't know this guy, but I want to. I like him. See, this one, his graphic tee is not showing.
Individual was,
but yes, you can trace Bitcoin. So I don't know. I mean, it's cryptocurrency is like I have. Let me see how much Bitcoin I have. It's not much. I have $47 in Bitcoin at the moment.
Release. So what?
So it's like 0.0000001.47 of a Bitcoin.
Often happens in homicide investigations.
Just waiting for it to go up, brother.
You have to follow leads as they come in. Earlier in our other interview, you know, I spoke about you have to start working that circle outwards, right? And I mentioned Uber drivers, you know, delivery drivers. So I'm guessing that's what that individual was. I listened to his interview. You know, he may or may not have delivered a package in that area. So it's good to see that they're following up on the investigation, on the leads. And with a situation like this,
Well,
you know that the bad guy was armed because you saw it on the camera. So we and law enforcement, we formally, but you know, they have to take precautions. So it didn't surprise me the amount of individuals and the type of units that they use for this detention. But that's what happens. You know, leads are going to pan out and they're not going to.
I'm actually going to cash all my Bitcoin out and in those to get those Sacagawea gold coins because I love those things.
Pan out, so you have to suss everyone out.
In your experience, you know, they did a search warrant at the house. They had him detained. They got him at a traffic stop. They took him back to headquarters. Would that have indicated that they thought they had something significant? I mean, you don't just do that to every other Uber driver, right?
Yeah, no, you're not just gonna, you know, detain somebody and, you know, transport them back somewhere. But again, they were following up on a lead, and I think we can extrapolate from, you know, what's been going on that he was a delivery driver. He may or may not have been in that area. I'm assuming he probably was. They're just not. I used to tell bad guys this all the time. Look, I didn't just pick your name out of a phone book randomly, right? So he was a delivery driver, was in the neighborhood, and they were following up on the lead on a potentially armed and dangerous individual.
What's your sense on where things stand now? Because I don't know, you know, one of my buddies in the FBI was saying we don't ever, and he's not involved in this case, but he was saying we don't like to release photos. Like if the FBI is releasing photos, it means that they actually need help.
Yeah. And it's the same way with the sheriff's department. You know, if we're tracking, you know, a suspect, you can look at it either way, right? You can put, if you have a suspect and you have a photograph, you're more than likely going to have eyes on that individual.
You know that this guy has a graphic tee on underneath that 3/4 or that not a 3/4. I think it'd be a 1/4 zip. Is that what it would be called?
Individual, meaning you're going to be surveilling him. And a lot of times they'll release something in the media.
And he's got the Ray-Ban transitions. Dude, it's Yeezy season.
To garner an action out of the individual that they're looking for.
3/4 zip fleece. Thank you.
Whether or not that was the case last night, I'm not sure. But, you know, that's what it is.
Do you think, because he was pulled over not far from where he lived,
Okay.
I found out when I was out there, do you think that means that he was under surveillance? Like, do you think they had eyes on him before this and then something happened where they decided, let's get him?
I'm assuming so, yes. Because just because you have a named individual that you're looking into, and again, you know, this person at that time was an investigative lead. So you can't just out of the blue decide to go drive somewhere and hope that the individual is going to be where you think they're going to be. So
I think they were just retrieving items for the family. The sheriff messed up from day one. Hopefully they will not just try to pin it on someone to appease the public. Carlos is not the person. I truly believe that Carlos is not the guy. Obviously it seems like the FBI doesn't think he is, but damage done. I mean, it's a stain on, you know, it forever. That's not really, especially in this high profile case. I mean, maybe when the actual person is caught, he will sort of fade into obscurity, which is the hope. But, you know, as of now, I mean, everybody knows where the guy lives. It's kind of shitty.
I would assume that they had some type of surveillance. I understand the FBI brought in a bunch more people yesterday or the day before.
Quarters.
You know, maybe it was FBI information that they were acting on, contacted the sheriff's department, said, hey, you know, let's roll. I don't know if that's what the case was, but it possibly could be.
Do you think that there could be other people under surveillance right now? What does your gut tell you?
I would hope so, but that's,
Bro,
you know, just my guess.
One more thing.
Like
his band, like his wedding band. Of course he's married. I mean, this guy's a stud. matches his quarter zip.
Everybody has theories about what's going on, and theories are like, you know, everyone has one. So your theory is as good as mine, and I'm just hoping that, you know, I'm hoping they have information that they haven't released yet that they're utilizing to further the investigation, whether it's surveillance, whether it's like yesterday walking around, you know, picking up or doing an article search. That's what they were doing. They were looking for an article of something that maybe the kidnapper had discarded. So
We were told last night out there that the sheriff had been there. He was gone by the time we got there.
Ben,
To the place where they Rio Rico,
okay.
Rio Rico. Is that significant? I mean,
no, and I'm sorry that I laughed, but
That wasn't much of a laugh.
when you're
where they Rio Rico,
okay.
Rio Rico. Is that significant? I mean,
no, and I'm sorry that I laughed, but
Damn. Try to control yourself next time, Kurt.
when you're a detective working a case or you're an officer working a case, the last thing that you want is to have the sheriff show up at any case, and especially a homicide, because media is always involved, and we're trying to conduct an investigation that is done by the book, step by step. And when you have the sheriff, you know, come out there, that causes a lot of duress on the detectives, you know, and officers.
Look, you know, on the show when Chris was talking about how he looked up Annie and Tommaso and contacted them. You know, such a weird connection. I kind of agree with you, but Babs says here, I still think the guy in LA has his court hearing is tomorrow, is a huge lead in this. If the case gets moved, he's making a deal. If he's convicted and sent back, then nothing to do with it. I mean, what are the chances that
officers and deputies that are investigating? So I think it's a little bit weird, but you know, he's the sheriff. He can, you know, show up wherever he wants.
the search that we saw yesterday near Annie's house, like all the FBI agents going in the yards, and then they just put out another release, the FBI did, that they're going to be searching along roadways in this area. What does that indicate? Or does it indicate anything?
That's what they're doing an article search. So what they're trying to prove or disprove, confirm or disprove, is that the individual may have discarded a pair of gloves as they're driving away, right? You can picture someone driving away and discarding clothing. I mean, that individual looked like he had, to me.
This guy worked for the Pima County Homicide Division for some years.
It looked like he had a couple of jackets on. It definitely appeared that he had more than one pair of latex gloves, you know, which leads me to believe that he was extremely careful in concealing his DNA. So what they're doing with the article search is walking up and down the roadway, probably, you know, 50 feet on either side of the roadway, just to see if there's anything
Great question.
in there. What struck me was that
one guy earlier said that they were tracking a phone. I don't know.
they were doing it back in Nancy and or Annie and Tommaso's neighborhood. It was like right after the video came out, then next thing you know, there's, you know, 25, 50 law enforcement officials doing an article search. So I was curious what prompted that.
It may be not a coincidence.
It might not be. But again, you know, I had mentioned the brother-in-law before. Again, it's that inner circle. You have to prove or disprove. And as the sheriff said, you know, the last press conference nearly a week ago, everybody is a suspect. So I don't know. I don't know if they had any information to cause them to go back there.
Are you surprised we haven't seen the sheriff in?
Yeah, but here's my question. Why Tommaso? Why get a hold of him? I understand getting a hold of Annie, but Tommaso? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm surprised
all
that
time,
there
it feels
was.
like.
I'm surprised there was not a press conference last night or this morning by the sheriff.
Annie, yes. Tommaso, no.
Because he said on Facebook or on the sheriff's webpage, if there are any significant activities, or we're not going to have a press conference till there's significant activity. Well,
Yeah, I'll play that video here in a bit again. But I will go back to it.
I think last night was a significant amount of activity.
Do you think that's an indication the FBI is in control?
Whether or not they're in control, I don't know. Is it an indicator of them being in control? You could say yes, but you could also say no, because realistically, that this is not an FBI case. You know, we don't have any proof that this alleged kidnapping crossed state lines, which would in fact turn it into a federal case. So as far as I know right now, the sheriff's department is running the investigation, but that those three letters do hold some weight. So it's possible.
In your experience working cases, I mean, there were 11 days in. What does that mean? I mean, what does this window mean? Does it get more difficult? Is it not a good sign that it's been?
Wow, that's some Aristotle shit right there. Good Lord.
Really almost 2 weeks now?
Yeah. Well, I was having a conversation yesterday about this very thing. You know, as the days progress, you're going to run out of leads unless stuff keeps coming in. So with the release of that video, obviously it's going to generate leads for, you know, the next couple of days. And if they release something else, even further out. But absent any new leads, look, the sheriff's department, you know, we have a county that's bigger than, you know, 3 or 4 states. You can't keep everybody focused on that investigation.
The very first. No, we cannot just call him Tom. Absolutely not. The the very first comment that I put up tonight accidentally was it said that everyone involved in this is dead. It's the Clintons trying to keep, who was it? Corey Feldman or I can't even remember now. Who the hell was it that they were keeping in line? Where are you at, Mr. Weird Person that said that?
So initially it was a lot of it.
It was one of the most ridiculous things I'd ever heard or read. Excuse me, not heard, read.
Individuals involved from different units within the sheriff's department, different detective units, patrol units, a lot of people working overtime, but you can't do that in
Michael Feldman. What did I say? Corey Feldman? Michael Feldman. Oh my God, look, that is you and Chris. Look at that. The McFluff. God, look at that smile.
perpetuity. You have to shrink the amount of manpower, and that's going to be based on the amount of leads. So once that manpower gets, keeps shrinking and it's basically down to just the homicide unit, that's when cases go cold.
Well, maybe with the FBI sending more people in, that'll help
Maybe
sort of alleviate that.
Maybe. But again, it's not their case. It's not their investigation yet. They can't just come in like the movies and, take over a case. They have to have jurisdiction. And as far as I know right now, they don't have any jurisdiction. I'm extremely grateful, and I'm sure the family is as well, and all of America, that the FBI.
He was like, hey, come on over here and let's take a picture. Let's take a picture, Holmes.
FBI is assisting with the technological aspects because they're able to do things that we can't even.
One of my favorite things that Chris says when he calls somebody home fries. She's got this home fries over here.
Fathom. So I hope that they're continuing with the videos. I would like to see more video. If they have a clearer picture, put it out, because that's going to generate leads. Because once the leads stop coming in, the task force is going to shrink and the case is going to go cold. So by releasing more information is the only way to keep the case going.
And just lastly, Kash Patel said last night that he used plural, like multiple people that they're looking at, which I guess would go back to what you said, that there's probably different avenues.
Yeah, look, like I said, you start in that inner circle. You start with the family, you start with any caregivers. Did they have any work done on the house? The Uber driver, how many Uber drivers? So there's a lot of people that they can interview. I think they've done a pretty good job of canvassing the neighborhoods. If someone in the neighborhood would have seen something,
I've been doing a McDonough impression for a long time, and I have no idea who Michael Feldman is. I know who Michael Phelps is.
I'm sure by now, they would have said something.
And one other thing I thought of, a lot of
You have the best videos, the best leads, Cash Patel, Cross-Eyed Man.
people have been asking me, they're like, are people scared in Tucson? Are people in the neighborhood scared? And it's been my kind of feeling that they're not.
Yeah,
which is kind of interesting.
I don't think anybody's scared, up here. This is not something that occurs all the time. I don't think that there's any concern for the general public based on this one individual case. It appears that it's isolated. The idiot that was at the door walking up, I mean, he looked like a buffoon. I know previously, I said, this is I think a professional deal, and it still may be, but that individual that walked up to the door and tried to cover the camera, he was completely unprepared, but he was extremely comfortable. He wasn't looking around, he was extremely comfortable being there, almost like he knew that there was nothing to worry about.
Yeah, that's a good point. He wasn't darting around and looking behind a million times to see if anyone was driving by.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a normal home invasion where, guys, multiple individuals are coming to a door with guns and, kicking doors and battering rams or hammers or pry bars. He didn't have anything. What I would like to know is how he got inside the house. That's a huge key, huge question for me.
Anything else, Allison?
No, I mean, I just wanted to say, did you, from what you have been hearing, have you heard anything that last night's operation was mostly
Brian is sick of the desert.
conducted by the FBI?
Yeah, I did hear some information from some contacts that I have that last night, was an FBI.
My favorites of all time.
Garnered the information and set the movement into action, and utilizing the sheriff's department, SWAT
It's
team,
a long
and
interview.
other agencies to help track that guy down. So again, not that the FBI has control, but if they come up with something, because they're working the technical aspect of it, they may have information and it's actionable and it needs to be worked on right now. So they may have said, hey, this is what we got.
Appreciate
Let's go. And they mounted up the troops and rolled out.
Hey, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your time, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Art Bell is like one of my all-time favorites. God rest his soul.
I really, really appreciate Kurt for talking with me. I actually hear a helicopter right now, which is basically the sheriff's office helicopter has been in this area a lot, searching. It's so sunny out today, by the way, and hot today. So it's
I still listen to old episodes of them.
tough conditions for these search crews out here in the desert, and there's a lot of them now. Again, I told you more FBI agents have been showing up. I also met up with Rick Castigar. He is the former undersheriff here in Pima County. He was there for 40 plus years working for the Pima County Sheriff's Office. And he has been a great resource because he knows the area very, very well. He knows the landscape very, very well. And he has some interesting theories about why he believes Nancy Guthrie is still alive. He took me on a drive around this area near Nancy's house. So I wanted to, I think he's got a lot of good insight. So I wanted to introduce you guys to him.
Interestingly, Savannah began here in her career working for KVOA, the NBC affiliate here. And she was fresh out of college. She's an attorney as well. She went to the U of A here. And when she cut her teeth in Tucson, and she and I interacted dozens of times on stories that were going on involving the sheriff's department.
So you know Savannah.
Oh, sure.
So that must make this even more.
It makes it. I was so happy for her.
All right, sorry, I was distracted. Who is this guy? Hold on.
This area near Nancy's house. So I wanted to, I think he's got a lot of good insight. So I wanted to introduce you guys to him.
Interestingly, Savannah began here in her career working for KVOA, the NBC affiliate here, and she was fresh out of college. She's an attorney as well. She went to the U of A here, and when she cut her teeth in Tucson, and she and I interacted dozens of times on stories that were going on involving the sheriff's department.
Yes. So you know Savannah.
Oh, sure.
So that must make this even more.
It makes it. I was so happy for her making it big. Local kid makes it big. It was really nice to see that. Delighted for her. She's such a sweetheart and a good-hearted person, caring, deferential, compassionate in what she does. Just a neat lady. So one of the things I see or saw that happened was this sheriff's department, which has talented people, but it's my opinion that once they knew that this was not an individual who walked away and might have succumbed to the desert. Once they knew this was an abduction or a kidnapping, the federal entity should have been called in. And it's my opinion that the FBI should be charged with this investigation, and this sheriff's department should subordinate itself to the FBI. Now, the local elements are clearly an aspect that are needed, and the sheriff's department has that capability to provide that, but we don't have forensics like the FBI has. We don't have those who can look at personality types that might commit this kind of crime, and it should have been.
It's suspicious. So you think?
Recognized initially that once this is labeled an abduction, get a task force together and bring on the FBI and ask them to take it over.
Why do you think that didn't happen?
Unfortunately, the sheriff, Chris Nanos, has an exorbitant ego, and he, in one case I can think of prior to this one, told the FBI he's the better investigator and he doesn't need their help. And that was a critical case that we needed their help with. This one in particular, they have far more resources than the sheriff's department has. This county was established in 1865. It's a big county, and law enforcement has been an element to it for decades and decades. And it has a lot of experienced people and talented people, but not the resources that the federal agencies have. So it's apparent that perhaps Nancy was abducted. It's apparent that she was likely injured in the process. It's apparent that somebody did it for a reason. We don't know. There seems to be the thought that there's money involved and Bitcoin. And, I'm sitting back in my experiences of 46 years in law enforcement asking, well, why is it $6 million? Why isn't it $3 million or $10 million? And why is it labeled US dollars? What does that tell me? And I'm asking myself, where are they keeping, Nancy? The logistics involved in keeping a person safe, if in fact you want to turn that person over safe to get money, is complicated.
Do you think though that the ransom element could just be wrong? I mean, that they're moving on from that. Are you hearing anything? Because it seems like based on Savannah's last video and some.
I'm not. What the sheriff said the other day, he came out, defended himself. He was pissed that people were calling him Barney Fife, which I think is a compliment, personally. Because Barney Fife is one of the greatest characters in TV history. Not flattering but the way that he defended himself was a bit unbecoming of somebody in charge, I guess, like the leader. So you could kind of see a little of that bleeding through. I mean, he should probably just keep his pie hole piped down while this investigation's going on.
The messaging from the FBI and the sheriff's office last night that they may be following other leads now, something totally different.
Well, certainly, and they've gone back to the scene to look at the vegetation of the desert in and around the home. I would have hoped that that was initially inspected in such detail that you look for footprints, you look for downtrodden areas in the desert. And as you can see, that's not necessarily an easy thing to do. Is this a kidnapping? I don't know. Why would they have her this length of time if in fact the family has decided to?
I agree that I agree that the sheriff's department doesn't need to be the lead on this anymore if the FBI is willing to completely take over the case, and then the sheriff's office becomes subordinate to the FBI. But what happens a lot in a lot of cases is that there is a struggle, a power struggle between different agencies. It was the same bullshit that went on when they were hunting Bonnie and Clyde. You know, you had the Texas Rangers, the FBI, and they were all fighting with each other. Who's going to find who's the better this, who's the better that. And instead, just, like figure it out. Work together.
Pay, and they want her back. What has happened? Is there another nefarious intent here? Is somebody angry at the family for some reason? And we don't know that. I don't know that. I would be asking those questions. I would be looking at the cameras that go in and out of this jurisdiction to the border of Mexico. The first night, if she was taken, and presumably by a vehicle, where are the tire tracks? Did they head to the border with her and cross somewhere into Mexico?
Do you think they even looked for tire tracks? I mean, it just seems so.
All right. So it says, I read an article, and Susie B said, I read an article that the FBI got a very icy reception from Pena County when they arrived. Well, that wouldn't shock me at all. It's always, look, this isn't federal. There's no money involved yet, or, this is our backyard, not yours. Happens all the time.
So rushed in the beginning, and they opened everything back up.
I think the initial thinking was, this is another elderly person who's wandered away, and that happens in the desert often. That type of a situation happens, and the resources that were called out initially, search and rescue folks, people on foot, investigators, the sheriff's department has a homicide team, and one of their ancillary responsibilities is to look for missing people and start delving into it. But it's clear to me that the evidence that they found at that house was indicative of an abduction and a crime. That was clear to me. And I'm not looking at the case. I don't know the specifics.
Really? You didn't ask Barney Fife if take a look at the case log?
So I think there's some flailing of arms, literally, going on.
Yeah,
and
teeth and flailing of arms.
An investigation that's unclear. Sadly, I know Chris Nanos, the sheriff, and his personality type and his need to micromanage, and he stifles creativity because of the way he interacts with his talent. And that is not necessarily a positive thing when you have an investigation of this sort. You need resources. You need outside looks at this.
Is he still? Do you think?
Oh, he said more. He said more than that.
The sheriff's office is still in charge. Do you know? Because it's kind of hard. On the outside, he's quieted down a lot, and the FBI seems like they are taking over some aspects.
Well, they're supporting, and I've heard the sheriff say that our partners, our federal partners, which infers that they're involved in this. It's my opinion they should be the lead. And
is it just an ego thing?
Yes, that is my opinion. It's an ego thing, and I have seen that play out with that personality, Chris Nanos, a number of times in my career, and it's not helpful. Sometimes you need to back up, reassess,
More like Chris Thanos,
and consider what other resources might be available and call on those.
Is it true that the homicide team is inexperienced?
It is true. They're less experienced than previous homicide details, but a lot of folks have retired, myself included.
I mean, how inexperienced?
To my understanding, there's a number of them that have only been in their positions a couple of years, and that is not enough experience to deal with this type of a crime. To abduct an elderly person and demand money is I can't recall in 46 years of law enforcement service a case like that ever occurring, ever. And that's troubling. But who has the experience? And I think the federal agencies do. And they should have been called in earlier, in my opinion.
There's reports now that they're DNA swabbing, people who worked in Nancy's house, that kind of thing. Is that pretty typical?
Yes.
That doesn't mean that those people would be suspects, I don't think, right? I mean, it's just they're probably just trying to. Well, what do you think?
I believe that if it's being done now, it should have been done a long time ago. I'm sure that there are support individuals, that have come in, whether they have medical, nurse visits as an example. Those people need to be talked to. Landscapers need to be talked to. The pool keeper needs to be talked to. DNA pulled from all of those is important, because if you've got an unknown DNA, which perhaps they do, I don't know whether they do or don't, you need to exclude or look at a match.
Yeah, that would make sense. You mentioned how big.
Well, I don't think, Retha, I don't think that you're wrong. However, there are many 84-year-old people of sound mind who absolutely refuse to give up their independence, rightfully so. One time I went to the hardware store with my neighbor who was 92, and he insisted on driving. We drove 12 miles an hour the entire way. It was the most terrified I'd ever been, going the slowest I'd ever been. He should not have been driving. By the time we got there, I said, I'm driving back. I don't care. And we went the speed limit back. Terrifying. But he's like, they gave me a driver's license. I was like, I don't know how
big the county is. I mean,
I'm not even kidding. We were going 12 miles an hour. I looked at the speedometer.
Until you're here, you don't really realize how vast it is. And there's it's tough terrain.
I said, when we got a parade behind us.
And just for people at home who,
God rest him, World War II vet, love you, Win. Winfield Sample, my man.
Who don't know. I mean, just describe it a little. And how big is it?
This county, Pima County, named after the Pima Indians, is 9,241 square miles. That is huge. There's a town 150 miles from where we are right now that's still within the county. The county has a direct border with Mexico, and that's miles and miles, tens and tens of miles long. The county is bigger than some states along the East Coast, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and it requires a special type of policing you know, one officer might have a need and could be 30 miles away, and that's not easy to get there quickly. So the topography, as you can see, we're heading into the Saguaro Monument, is another challenge. The desert is not necessarily.
When my grandfather passed away, because my grandparents took me in after my mom had died and dad went to prison. And so I was obviously for most of my life raised by my grandparents. My grandfather asked me, because he knew that he was dying, he said, asked me to look after my grandmother. And you know, it's a job that I take pretty seriously. And it's not an easy thing to do, but it's necessary, you know. I mean, I don't know what she would do if I wasn't around.
It's beautiful, but it's not always friendly. There are a number of risks out there with thorny bushes and cactus and poisonous animals that, you know, do hurt people that go out in it. So the search and rescue capability of the sheriff's department is pretty busy. They're always busy. They're always searching for something.
Do you know what happened with the plane? I've heard some reports that the plane didn't get up right away because of a beef with the sheriff and the pilot. Is that true?
Well,
and there are others that help too. Like my sister definitely helps. And, you know, it's not all left on me, but for the most part, that, you know, she's my responsibility.
I don't know it to be true. I've heard the same thing. It's my understanding he dismissed the pilot that was going to fly the night.
It's not like she's cooking me breakfast, lunch, and dinner and folding my laundry and things like that. None of those things are happening.
That she was missing. It's my understanding that that same pilot contacted via a chain of command the sheriff and said, look, we have a need. We have aircraft available. Can I go? And he declined, is what I've been told. I don't know that to be true, but that sounds like what the sheriff would do.
Do people know that Nancy Guthrie? I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm trying to think about like why this may have happened. And obviously Nancy's daughter is Savannah and people know she has money, but do people in town in Tucson know that Nancy Guthrie lives here?
Yeah, but the thing is, she took care of me when I couldn't take care of myself when I was a wee young lad. I have 2 dogs. Yeah, she likes both of them. Sometimes. When they're good, they're her dog. They love her too, by the way.
And where she lives, is she known in that way to be Savannah's mom?
Yes, I think the vast majority of people who pay attention to what's going on in this community know that Savannah grew up here, went to school here, and her mother lives here. I think a lot of them know that. I don't know that they personally know Nancy, but certainly they know of Savannah and the success that
if it wasn't for my grandma, I would have ended up in foster care.
She has had.
My grandpa, I would have been in foster care. Nobody else was going to take us in
her.
We're friggin' orphans.
Career, and she's brought a sense of pride to this community because we're all proud of what Savannah has done, and we want to band together and deal with this unusual situation and get Nancy back to the family.
Let's talk about
Sweet Soul. I do not find my grandmother to be a burden.
The geography here.
Well, what you're looking at is really typical desert
in any way, shape, or form.
right now. And obviously everybody recognizes saguaro cactus, and we're going to see a lot more. But some of the other shrubbery around here, like these spiny things that are tall to my left, those are called ocotillo. And if you looked closely at them, they all have spines on them. There's mesquite brush here.
And I usually don't even cover stories like this, but I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of us can really relate. You know, your mother, your grandmother. I mean, this is a mother and a grandmother.
Palo Verde trees, which actually the name is Spanish for a green tree. That's one of those right there.
They're wonderful.
Don't know that you wanted a tour necessarily. People have heard about certain cactus that jump off at you and stick to you. And those are actually called jumping cholla. And I'll show you one when we get around.
I'm just thinking though, like, and I hope Nancy's alive somewhere. I mean, obviously,
we all,
you know, but when I look at this, there's a lot of places to hide something.
There is. The topography is extreme. We're at 3,000 feet in elevation, right where we're at right now. And there's a mountain in front of us that goes up to close to 7,000 feet. And there's a mountain to the north of us that goes almost 10,000 feet. And everything in between creates a topography that's a challenge. And as I was mentioning earlier, the search and rescue team for the sheriff's department has really difficult times in trying to locate people who come to this part of the country ill prepared, without water, get lost. And
do people just vanish and you never find them?
Well, yes, that's happened. Typically they're found, but in many instances they're found deceased because they were ill prepared. They didn't have enough water. In the summer, you could have 8% humidity and 115-degree temperature. That will kill you very quickly.
So do you have a, I mean, I hate to say gut feeling, but based on, you know, the people you know, and you obviously still know a lot of people, you were at the sheriff's office for how long?
Sweet soul. I meant when you were growing up, your attitude sucks on this topic. We'll now throw a hissy fit and see myself. I have no idea what you're talking about. None. Zero. My attitude sucks on what?
46 years.
46 years. What is your gut telling you right now?
My gut is telling me that she's still alive.
Really?
And that the people who are holding her are trying to manage the logistics to get what they want, which presumably is money, and then safely return her. That's my gut.
So you think it was a kidnap, like a legit kidnapping?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the most logical outcome for this case. But there are certainly other possibilities, and you have one could be she was taken to spite some member of the family. We don't know that, but that certainly is an area that needs to be addressed and looked at.
But I just wonder why. I mean, it seems like there'd be other people you could kidnap that would be easier, that are connected to more money than just this older woman who's needs medicine, can't walk very well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I think as I intimated, the logistics involved in keeping her now into week 2, just healthy and alive, is extremely difficult. And you know, who could do that, and where would you keep her? This
like, what kind of a sick bastard would do this?
This particular case has gotten national, even international coverage, and I think Nancy's face is extremely easy to recognize. How do you take her to someplace if, in fact, you need to get care for her, or have her eat, or use the restroom?
Would it be easy to get her into Mexico?
Yes, it would. There are heavily traveled border areas that you go down, and the United States Border Patrol pretty much gives you access without much question, and the Mexican authorities on the other side are typically they won't question you. You just go in, and it's highly likely she could be in Mexico. It's my opinion that might be one of the places that would logically make some sense to deal with her until what they want, what they're demanding, is satisfied.
If you
I mean, to take advantage of the marginalized and the defenseless, it's an unfathomable thing.
were still at the sheriff's office, I mean, what would you have done differently? Would you have taken help from more people early on? And how important is it in those first couple of days to do that?
It's critical in the first couple of days.
Well, you know what? I think so too. I think that's possible too. I do.
And yes, I would have taken things differently in a different course. I would have called on a task force. And the whole idea is to collaborate with other people who may have other ideas.
Did he say collaborate?
And other collaborate with other people.
He said it. He said collaborate.
Who may have other ideas and other input and other experiences in law enforcement that could come to the table to compile all.
I think it's corroborate. I've never heard the word collaborate.
Of this as a strategy to try to deal with this. The longer this sheriff's department takes to try and resolve this, the more difficult it may become, because there are medical issues with her and the need for her to.
I don't think she's in Mexico.
Get that attention, medical attention. I would have called in the FBI very early on, and as we have now learned, this was considered to be an abduction, kidnapping initially. Well, within the scenes, the first 24 hours, they were coming to that conclusion. And the sheriff was, for reasons I don't clearly understand, was withholding detail that came out later that could have come out sooner. And he could have enlisted the help of the resources I've mentioned earlier, like the FBI and their forensic capabilities, not just electronically, but certainly with the evidence that's at the scene. They could have helped with that, could have helped expedite that.
Yeah, I was thinking about just motives. It's like money for these kinds of things, and based on other stories we've covered: money, sex, vengeance, vendetta. Do you think it could be like a vendetta or vengeance against?
I don't know where he's taking. Maybe the Dairy Queen. I've been wondering that. They've been driving for a long time. Maybe he's taking Brian to Mexico.
Someone else in the family that maybe.
Oh, collaboration. Got it.
Doesn't have anything to do with Savannah Guthrie?
It could be. I mean, all of those situations or motives are certainly possible. A lot of people keep drawing to Savannah and her.
Going into Mexico, not so hard. Coming out or coming in to the United States from Mexico, not so easy.
Notoriety as being the impetus for this crime. That's not necessarily something you would want to solely focus on, because there are certainly other possibilities. Has someone in the family been or angered somebody else to cause them to do this? Those are things that need to be thoroughly vetted, and that's what police investigation is. Talk to the brother, talk to the sister, talk to any other siblings, caretakers, as we've discussed before.
Really appreciate Rick for taking the time to talk with me. I'm going to obviously be staying on this.
I think you might need a passport, but I think Canada you do. Do you need a pass? Wow. Do you need a passport to go to Mexico? I don't know. I mean, maybe a birth certificate. I don't know. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you.
See what develops today and keep you guys posted with any developments. You guys know I'll post right away. YouTube, I'm on TikTok, also on News Nation pretty much every hour. And if anything pops, you know, I'll just, like last night, I just got in the
The interview room discussed and questioned why did it take Annie and Tomasi an hour to call Ellie, especially with blood on the porch and the state of the home being. Dude, if I couldn't find somebody that I was looking for that I know is going to be there, quite I mean, just quite obviously that they're not where they're supposed to be. I mean, it's not going to take an hour. All right, hold on. What is this?
Scott Rouse.
Huh. We got Weber.
Has trained alongside the FBI, Secret Service.
You need a passport, but I stopped going with my sons because kidnapping's there. Yeah. Yeah, I think multiple. Yes.
Service and U.S. military intelligence in behavior and body language. And Steve Wolf is a firearms expert, engineer, expert witness. Thank you both so much for coming on. Scott, I'll start with you. When you watch this video, what stands out to you about the person's behavior and body language?
What I'm looking for in a situation like this are things that are missing.
Yeah.
So the first thing I ask myself is what's missing. When we see him walk up, he walks up slow. So his gait is very small. It's a medium to small.
All right, let's just say this. If Ashley Banfield had never came out and told everybody in the world that Tommaso was a prime suspect or could be a prime suspect in this case, which put him on the radar of pretty much everybody because of her, I think the word she used was impeccable source. The fact that they keep going back to her house and Tommaso's house over and over and over would raise some suspicion, but I don't think people would be all like as hardcore about it. Get in bed, please. That's my question. Because I don't know if we would really be that adamant about it.
Small gait. This lets us know there's no stress. He's not in a hurry. And his head goes down.
Well,
after the camera comes on, he gets to the porch, that head goes down. But that's not turtling. We turtle when we're afraid of something. We're getting ready to shoplift, we're hiding the crowd, something like that. Our head comes down, our shoulders come up, something that's called turtling because our brain
not really in trouble. He's just
and says, we need to hide. We need to get ourselves smaller than this. I think he ducks his head because he's afraid he's going to be recognized by the camera. Now, even though normal robbers don't have that fear of being recognized, for some reason, this guy's trying to hide his face as well with that thing. Then this is a guy, this is a man How do we know that? Because of the way he walks, the way he moves around. Women don't move like that. No, they don't. Then also, what's missing are.
But one thing I feel too is that if he was involved, and they think that he's involved, or thought that he's involved, maybe they're just still collecting evidence against him. But I mean, you know, he's right there, right? He's right there. He's there. He's like right there, or wherever. I mean, he's, I don't know, man. They got all of his stuff.
Threat checks. He's not doing threat checks. He's not looking around for trouble. He's not looking for passing cars, joggers, dog walkers. He doesn't look for threats outside of that porch. And the only time he looks for a threat is when he steps out and picks up those flowers or weeds or whatever they are, and he steps up to put them over the camera.
Well, I've seen a few manly women these days. Did you get yourself a new girlfriend? Congratulations.
Which brings us to how smart he isn't, because he's not a problem solver. If he'd thought ahead of time, he would have thought there might be a camera there, or he may have known there was a camera there. I need to bring a piece of duct tape to stick over that. So he didn't think ahead. So I'm under the impression he didn't think ahead about some other little things ahead of time, that he didn't solve those problems. So there's probably a lot of stuff he left behind there as well. Plus the fact the backpack is full. That thing is full. So that could be a tarp. It could be extra clothes. Something he could change clothes when he gets in, so it doesn't look like the same person came as the same person leaving. There could be duct tape, zip ties. And since he's alone, and we know he's alone because he doesn't check anybody, doesn't nod or wave his hand at anybody out in the driveway or the yard.
That's a really full backpack too. The one that he's trying to hide is or do something with. So this is somebody down the road. Okay, so this video was submitted to the FBI. This is the same night that Nancy went missing, and it time stamped 1:53 in the morning. Yeah, 1:53 in the morning. So I've heard 5 miles. I have no idea how close or far away this is. I just know that it's in the vicinity, and I don't know how close. But that is a full backpack. Actually, at that time, Perp was still at Nancy's house. It looks like he's trying to open the gate. The pants don't look the same. Well, I don't know. I don't know. This video is not from January 11th. Well, it says that the video is from February 1st, 1:53. But let me hold on. It was at Nancy's from 147 to 228. Okay. Why is he walk? Like, look at him done. Browser. Okay, well, I don't care because there's no audio. He does. He has a big can. That's for sure. I don't know. Well, this Nerdy Attic had it on his page on Twitter, but it was submitted to the FBI. Mel was playing it earlier too. Let me. I don't know if he still is or not. So it says investigators seeking video from January 11th between 11 and 9 p.m. Because wasn't there like a strange, didn't they say there was like something strange going on in that neighborhood a couple weeks before? Friggin' macho. So, okay, let me go. I don't think they're the same person. But that doesn't mean that that couldn't be the backpack. I mean, maybe. I have no idea. Could be nothing. That guy's a lot skinnier, I think. Yeah, I don't see an emblem either. Well, that's another possibility too, because it looked like the gloves, either multiple gloves or gloves and then the nitrate gloves on top of it. But I don't think, they're the same person, but it would be interesting to know how close. No, I didn't. What was your question? Put it, can you put it in again? It's not the graphic tee guy. Don't you dare talk about the graphic tee guy like that. His name's Kurt, too. It's a respected member of the community. That guy is pretty thin. I don't think they're the same guy. Sure are a lot of backpacks going on, though. Well, to say not even close, I mean, come on, not even close. I don't think it's the same guy either, but to say it's not even close is a little disingenuous, unless you're, an expert in something that I don't know about. But the fact of the matter is, he could have had something underneath that jacket as well. He's not wearing any gloves either. I'd say not even close, but I don't think it's the same guy. This is a video that was submitted to the FBI. Happened the same night that Nancy Guthrie went missing. February 1st. But I don't think that it could be the same guy based on the time alone, but yeah, it doesn't look like him. It was submitted to the FBI from the neighbor, is from what I understand. I don't know if they're a neighbor, but it's somebody down the road. All right, I can't say it anymore. It's just this video. This video is from a neighboring neighborhood. but it isn't unusual for people to be wandering around in the middle of the night, looking to get into people's business. Happens all the time, everywhere, constantly. Yes, a neighboring neighborhood. I don't know about the multiple backpacks, but no, I don't think it's the same person. The times alone don't make any sense. Okay, hold on. Where are you at, Martha? Where'd Martha go? Maybe. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, everything's possible. Did I miss your comment again, Martha? God dang it. So I've fella behind the truck. Where? Where at? Oh, wait. Wait. Are you talking about right here? Why did my phone fall again? I mean, there is something moving here, but he's not even acknowledging anybody over there. Yeah, I think it's a wanderer. I think it's a wanderer. Why does it get so grainy there though? I don't know, man. It's a strange one. Yeah, it's probably a homeless person. Uh, hold on. I do not think that it's the same person. Like a new show every week. I don't think it's Tommaso either in the video. I think they do show a photo of the glove. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. think I already played this though. That's the glove. There you go. See what Anjanette has to say. What do you mean by this? Dom and Tom directed by Annie? You think that Annie's okay, so you're saying that Annie has directed who's Dom? And it's the Clintons, remember, to keep Michael Feldman in line. Yeah, I know, but who's Dominic? Do you want to know something, Travis? I'm going to tell you this right now, just for you. There has never been one time that somebody has told me to Google something that I did actually Google it. If somebody says, hey, Google it, I say, hey, no, Dom is the bandmate. You Google it. I've never Googled anything anybody's ever told me to Google. Never once in my life. And I never will. Never. It's not going to happen. Never. Ever. Even if you're serious about me Googling something, like, hey, you really need to Google this, I'll say, no, frig off. And if you're being disingenuous about it, eat shit. Hey, Travis, duck, go it. Is there sound? There's no sound? Is there sound? No sound? Sound? No sound? There's sound?
She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you.
Is there sound now? Travis, is there sound? Travis, can you Google it and see what's going on here?
Not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson.
Travis.
If you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation. And we need your help.
Thank you.
That was Monday.
I Googled your stream and said you have sound. I have sound. Thank you for Googling it for me. I'm going to need you to Google that.
Hours before a ransom deadline was nearing. That deadline
Like that would start a fight at a party. Like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, didn't you know, like, you could tell how far lightning and thunder is away by, like, from when the lightning, you go 1,000. Google it, bro.
Past, the alleged kidnappers reportedly wanted $6 million in Bitcoin for the return of Nancy. TMZ received a message with a link to the Bitcoin wallet, and as of Monday night, there was no activity in that wallet. 2 local TV stations also received ransom messages, but did not disclose details of what was written. So it appears the ransom wasn't paid, of course. Savannah Guthrie and her siblings wanted proof of life and were willing to pay. That's what they said in a Saturday evening Instagram post. Now, we don't know the exact contents of the ransom messages and whether they were actually from the people who took Nancy Guthrie. On Tuesday, February 10th, the Pima County Sheriff's Office and the FBI released these terrifying images of a person approaching Nancy Guthrie's home. Take a close look as the person walks onto the porch, their head.
I will Travis it. Hi, everybody say hi to Travis. Hi. Hey, Travis, have fun with Google. I won't Google anything anymore. I will Travis it instead. Thank you, Anne. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Head is down despite the fact that they are wearing a mask. It's as if they know there may be a camera that could capture their face. The backpack has reflectors on it. The person is wearing gloves and a jacket, along with what appears to be blue jeans. In another video clip, the person approaches the door and touches a firearm holstered at the center of their waist and sees the doorbell camera. The person's gloved left hand moves toward the camera, covering part of it. The hand balled into a fist. The person turns around, hunched over, and walks toward the landscaping, pulling part of a plant from the ground. With the plant in their hand, the person returns to the Nest camera, covering it with the leafy, flowery plant pieces.
I mean, does anybody else, is the irony lost on anybody else that he's building a nest on the Nest camera?
We know the camera was removed. So is the person trying to remove it while hastily trying to obscure what they are doing? Still photos from the video show the person has a mustache. You can see it if you look closely at the hole in the mask that is for.
This is how stupid this guy could be. He thought that it says nest. Oh, well, if I build a nest.
For the mouth. It appears to be a.
Feed some baby birds while he's doing it. Come here, baby birds. Me, 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 me.
Dark mustache and also part of a goatee. The eyebrows appear to also be dark, as you would expect them to be, and the eyes are almond-shaped. In another still image from the video, you can see the eyebrows just under the ski mask, at least part of them, and the eyes. The masked person also has a flashlight in their mouth as they hold those pieces of the plant from the landscaping. The eyelashes are not distinctive. As I mentioned, FBI Director Kash Patel and the Pima County Sheriff's Office released these images. Hours later, SWAT teams rolled out and detained a man for questioning. They searched his home. Patel appeared on Fox News' Hannity, and he explained how despite Nancy Guthrie not having a Nest subscription, they were still able to get these valuable images.
We were able to execute lawful searches and go to these private sector companies and expedite results, and then go into their systems and actually excavate material that people would think would normally be deleted and no one would look for. And basically, without getting into too many of the details, that's how the FBI worked with our private sector partners to pull out material that people thought
he really did. I remember
didn't even exist.
And Patel discussed the investigation and answered a question from Hannity about whether there are suspects or persons of interest in this investigation.
I will say we have made substantial progress.
I mean, like that face. Too bad he didn't build the nest earlier.
The last 36, 48 hours, thanks to the technical capabilities of the FBI and our partnerships. And I do believe we are looking at people who, as we say, are persons of interest. But as you know, with any investigation, you're a person of interest until you're either eliminated or you're actually found to be the culprit or the culprits involved. And that's the stage we're at right now.
I think the reason that there's no street lights is because, what do they call it? Like a clear sky area because you could see the Big Dipper. Like anyone gives a shiz about that.
That interview was
Oh, look, it's the Big Dipper.
underway.
It's awesome.
Agents detained Carlos Palazuelos in Rio Rico,
I love looking at the stars.
Arizona. That's 60 miles south of Tucson.
You know what I like? Streetlights.
He was questioned and later released, and a court-ordered search of his home was conducted. He told reporters he didn't know who Nancy Guthrie was, and he hoped she'd be returned safely. He works in Tucson as a package delivery driver.
I mean, I hope they get the suspect, because I'm not it. They better do their job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name, and I'm done. Look at what I'm putting my family through.
You're on national news now.
Not just stand.
He's all pushing the camera back. Look at that.
Even my parents in too. Look at
I feel
what I'm putting my family.
I feel absolutely terrible for the guy.
You're on
Not just
national
stand.
news now.
Not just stand. Even my
Why does Telemundo think they can get all
parents in Tucson. What I'm putting my family through.
You're on
Not just
national
stand.
news now.
Not just stand. Even my parents
Dude, he was
in Tucson. Look at what I'm putting
like, where did that camera come, or where did that come from?
my job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name, and I'm done. Look at what I'm putting my family through.
You're on
Not just
national
stand.
news now.
Not just stand. Even my parents in Tucson.
Right.
Yeah.
So who is this masked person in the video? And does this person have Nancy Guthrie? Is it actually a man, or could it possibly be a woman in disguise?
Yeah,
The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward in this case. So I'd like to bring in Mike Alcazar. He's a retired NYPD detective. He was also a hostage negotiator. So Mike, I'm interested in your thoughts on this video and the images that were taken from the video that were released by both the Pima County Sheriff's Office and the FBI on Tuesday. It sounds like Kash Patel says they got this and they turned it around as quickly as they could to get it out to the public.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it took several days to get it. I almost feel like maybe the FBI should have been the lead in the right from the get-go, because when we have a case like this, that's like investigative 101. You know, we interview the witnesses, canvass for surveillance videos, you know, and they got it. Now they got the video. It's great. And I'm sure they're getting an onslaught of like tips right now, because somebody's going to recognize that perp on the video by, you know, by his clothing, by his gait, by the gun, the holster, the way he carries it. You know, I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, they already had a stop last night, right? A person of interest.
I don't know why. I'm being dead serious. This guy reminds me of, I think I've met this guy before, maybe at the Y playing basketball at some point. He's your typical like weekend warrior basketball player. I think I've played against him before.
So it's just.
So Mike, this first video that we're looking at here, I look at it and I see somebody obviously cognizant of the fact that there may be a camera there.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's possible that he's been there before. He knows that there's video surveillance in the house. You know, he's ducking his head. So he's wearing a mask. So he's very aware that there's some kind of surveillance camera. The only thing that threw me off a little bit was that he kind of looked like he was
maybe like a family barbecue, like he was somebody, I don't know,
taken by surprise that there was like a ring door camera, and then he wasn't quite prepared, you know, how to disable the camera. You know, he went to the bushes, ripped out some bushes, and he's trying to do like a makeshift cover. So prepared somewhat, not completely.
Talk to me about how important a detail such as the reflectors on the backpack could be, because somebody may know somebody with that specific particular backpack.
100%. Someone's going to identify his gear.
Nah, not usually. Mostly like astrophysicists and stuff like that.
His clothing, his backpack, his it looks like a track jacket of some sort, some kind of a coat. His holster, his gun. Some people pointed out his sneakers, that it's someone said there's like a split in the toe. These are very unique clothing that he's wearing that someone, you know, that knows him or knows him from somewhere might be able to identify. And if he was in the area before, maybe in this house or other homes, he might have been wearing the same clothing. I'm sure.
I just think like the guy looks like he could dominate a cornhole tournament.
The FBI is combing through all kinds of videos and surveillance, and him having this reflective jacket, right? That's going to be very easy to spot if he's recorded on other surveillance videos. So that's a big deal right there.
Let's talk now about the gun.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think that the glove is relevant or irrelevant? Relevant or irrelevant? I hope it's relevant, but I mean, took me.
I talked to someone this morning who believes that possibly is a Glock, a semi-automatic. Do you see the same thing, or do you see something different?
All right, we need a poll. That's true. Hold on. Give me a second here. I'm not prepared for this kind of stuff. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Start a poll. Okay. Do you think the glove found is relevant? Yes or no? Start poll. Yeah, baby. We got a poll going now, folks.
I mean, I got to be honest, just from that holster, I can't tell if that's a Glock. You know, I can't tell. I mean, the butt of the gun sticking out a little bit, but then again, the color is a little bit perhaps reverse. Yeah, I can't even tell if that's an automatic or revolver.
Not sure. Okay, hold on. We're redoing the poll. Hold on. This poll sucks. End the poll. Doesn't count. Take it off the board. We're going to have 3 options. Okay. Question number 1. Shit. All right. Start a poll. Do you think the glove is relevant? I've spelled relevant wrong twice. Yes, no, not sure. Google it. All right. We're rocking and rolling again, folks. We're back.
Honest, you know, it's hard for me to figure out just by looking at that.
Do you believe those are nitrile gloves, or do you think that's another type of glove?
Yeah, I think those are like, my girlfriend's a nurse, and I think those are surgical gloves. Initially, when
He had to throw in his girlfriend was a nurse. I definitely know this guy.
I saw it, because up close, it looked kind of leather. But now that I'm looking at it and the way it wrinkles, it looks like there might be creases where it was folded. It looks like surgical gloves to me. And again, you know, you see it. It doesn't look like leather. You see the folds on it. Yeah, to me, that looks like
My supermodel girlfriend is a nurse.
like something that you'd get, like, you know, in a hospital.
We see the back of the backpack there as well. It's entirely possible that this backpack was purchased for this endeavor only. I mean, all of the items this person is wearing could have been purchased for this event. We don't know that, but it's possible. Do you think that the FBI can enhance this video to a degree and possibly find out the brand of this backpack, and then they'll start looking at the area stores to see within a certain radius who may have purchased
What the hell's in that backpack?
such a backpack in the last couple of months?
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing that with every item this perpetrator is wearing, the jacket, the bag, even the mask, the sneakers. You know, I was doing it myself with, I was just taking a still of the jacket, and I was looking it up on Google Lens, and it produced all kinds of images. I'm sure the FBI has more more robust technology. And you're right, they can absolutely
A hostage negotiator with his girlfriend's a nurse.
track that down in the area, who sells that style of jacket, that backpack, and they could probably track down a purchase. And then, of course, if they do find out a location like that, they're going to look at the.
So right now the poll stands at 33%, 34%, 33% yes, 34% yes, 35% no, 31% not sure. Google it.
Surveillance videos in the stores to see if they can match anybody that fits his body shape and size and weight and height.
Mm-hmm. They've got this, ski mask on. Is there anything about the ski mask itself that sticks out to you? We've got a couple of different images of the ski mask, but does it just look like an old school ski mask to you? Is there anything distinctive about it?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a regular mask that you could buy on Amazon. I did notice that, the
Oh God.
mask is pulled all the way down, hiding his chin, hiding his neck, which could.
Where can you get it?
Probably indicate mask that you could buy on Amazon.
It's true.
I did notice that, the mask is pulled all the way down, hiding his chin, hiding his neck, which could probably indicate that he might have facial hair that he's trying to conceal. I mean, it looks like a regular ski mask to me. What do you think? It's ribbed.
Yeah,
it looks like anything you buy anywhere.
I'm not a ski mask connoisseur, but it just looks like a regular old ski mask to me. I just know there are a lot of people who like the balaclavas these days.
Sure.
But that will show more of the eyes and the face. We also have this flashlight, and it would have to be small enough to fit inside the mouth. So we've got that as well. Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on the flashlight. Obviously, this person has that in his mouth to see what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, they have all kinds of flashlights. Now, I myself have a little square flashlight that looks like a lighter. And somebody, I was watching.
Man, I don't know, to be honest with you. I think that, like I said, I think that Ashley Banfield kind of screwed up all of our thought processes with throwing out that the brother-in-law could be the prime suspect. But then they start seizing cars and going to their home multiple times and back there again today. But again, I would think that if he actually had I would think that they would be further down the road with the investigation if he was the guy or involved at least.
The news that somebody said that it looked rectangular, so it could be one of those, and he might be doing that purposefully, right, to block the video camera. So again, someone that had prior knowledge, aware of his surroundings, aware of the house, and he brought these things for that reason. Or he could be a professional burglar. He's done this before, and that's another thing they're going to look into, right? Anybody that's been collared or recently released in the area, who are these prowlers, burglars that have been collared around Pima County? They're absolutely looking at that database, looking for like a similar MO, anything that matches exactly what's happening here. Because if this guy did this somewhere else and it's recorded like in a police complaint report, a good report will document all that. We recovered this, a flashlight, the gloves, it should be pretty robust information contained in a database for a police departments.
We also know from looking at this that this person appears to be left-handed. So does that tell us anything?
Oh.
Again, if he was arrested before, that might be noted in the police report. Yeah, it seems like his left hand is his dominant hand. So very telling. So if we're looking for other surveillance, like the FBI are looking right now, they might be looking for people that are carrying things in their left hand. If they find a video of him purchasing at the store, is he carrying his phone in his left hand? Little things like that that are nuanced might help identify this perpetrator. I think it's rich with information. And we know that we have eyes throughout the world right now trying to help identify this guy. And this video is everywhere. So it's good information.
Yeah, definitely good information. We see the reflectors again in this video. Obviously, there's a zipper jacket that this person is wearing, and then what appears to be some type of strip or stripe across it.
Yeah.
But that looks like it's almost part of the jacket if you look closely at that.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Definitely signature of whatever style. No one has identified that jacket yet. I'm actually surprised. I haven't been looking, but somebody has to know what that jacket is already.
Mike, another detail that stands out.
What are you talking about, Mike?
Out to me and others viewing this, I'm sure to you as well. If you look at the hole where the mouth is, we see facial hair, and the facial hair shows the prominent, mustache here. Also, we see the goatee type thing, part of a goatee, I would think it is.
Now, yes, the scene could be staged, obviously, but he definitely doesn't seem in a hurry. And the fact that he tried to build a nest on the Nest camera.
And then you see the eyebrows. So somebody who knows this person may suspect this person may remember, if this person hasn't shaved, oh my gosh, I know that facial hair. I know that mustache, even though I'm just seeing a small portion of it.
Yeah, again, it's significant. If somebody is friends with this guy or is a family member or works with him, right? They're going to recognize him. I could put on a mask and all my friends will know exactly what I look like if they see me in a mask. Same thing here. So I know the FBI is heavily relying on the public to make an identification, and I'm sure calls are coming in right now. So yeah, that's a big clue.
Is it possible for the FBI to do something like a retina scan, iris scan, that type of thing to try to identify this person? Is that possible, or is that just too high tech?
I think nothing's not, I wouldn't rule anything out. They have really good facial recognition technology that can like pinpoint on the eyes, and then they can match it to anybody in their database that has the same shaped eye. They can even do it if they recover surveillance videos and develop stills, right? And it's probably why they zone in on Carlos yesterday. I was looking at him as like, you know what? His eyes are very closely similar to what we can see in that image. So I'm sure they're employing that. That's how they targeted Carlos.
And what about
they targeted him because of his eyes? I mean, if that's really his take, and trust me, I am not a genius, but if that's his take, they targeted him because of his eyes. I can't imagine what kind of hostage negotiations he'd be doing. The guy's like, I'm gonna jump. Well, you could jump. All right, I'm jumping.
Height of this individual, the height of the individual, do you think that they can get a ballpark based on where that person is standing as they walk back to grab that plant, and then as they're walking in as well?
Yeah, that's quite easily done. They just go back to the scene, put a couple of guys that they think look similar in height, walk the same way, and they got his height. They can even put measurements. They can even do it digitally. So that's done. They have that.
After last night's what appears to be a false alarm, if you will, do you think the tips are continuing to come in? These images are still being plastered all over the news.
For sure. They're going to be getting thousands and thousands of tips. And that's going to be the struggle, right? They're going to have to vet all that information. They got to comb through all that. Thank God to have, the FBI there with a task force of investigators that can, vet all that information.
Mhm. Well, we will keep a close eye on it. I think that gait of that person walking is telling. Combine the gait with the facial hair, the eyes. The eyes to me are kind of distinctive. I think it's all very telling. Mike Alcazar, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Now, I should mention, while all of this was going on Tuesday, a canvass of the neighborhood where Annie Guthrie and her longtime partner, Tommaso Cioni, live was also going on. Annie is Nancy's oldest daughter. Nancy had dinner at their home on the evening of Saturday, January 31st. Annie and Tommaso's home had been photographed by law enforcement last weekend. Sources told NBC News, though, that was a consent search. Anyone with information about the case or Nancy's whereabouts or the identity of the person in the videos should call 1-800-CALL-FBI. There's a $50,000 reward. TMZ received a new note on.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they keep going back, which is not a good sign. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Get up on the, here, come on. Get on the bed. Up, go. Up. Come on. Get on the bed. Go. Buddy. He really is a pain. I do love him, though. The band member. Dom and Tom.
Wednesday.
Annie. Well, look, if I agree. Yeah.
Asking for 1 Bitcoin in exchange for the identity of Nancy's abductor. That totals about $67,000. TMZ says it turned over that message to the FBI. That's it for this episode of
He's being such a pain.
Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Thank you so much for being with me. I'll see you back here next time.
What is okay, let's see. What's the poll? Okay, so 36% say, yeah, we'll end it here. Hold on. Get up in bed. Come on. Come on. Up. Get in bed. Watch it. Oh, just get up. Go. Come on. Up. Get in bed. Go. Stop doing it. He's in trouble. No, you don't want a pup cam. He's a pain in the butt sometimes. I think that's about everything from tonight. I don't know if there was a home alarm system or not. I don't know. Such a pain. Homeland Security is involved, which means illegal citizen smuggling. We'll see. I mean, I think everybody's kind of involved. And so anyway. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. We'll see what kind of developments happen tomorrow, and maybe we'll come back on tomorrow evening around the same time if you guys want. And anyway, had a good time hanging out with you guys. Good talking. All right, guys. Take care.